Ferrari are entering the 2025 season with tons of potential and hope that the most competitive duo on the grid can win the first championship since 2007, and Vasseur's latest comments are confirming the brave approach of the Maranello team. After learning some valuable lessons in the past couple of months, Ferrari are now banking to invest in an all-new machine that would definitely put Hamilton and Leclerc in a very steady position to win their 8th or 1st championship, depending on which angle you're looking at this. But can this new approach be more favourable to one driver than the other? And is it done on purpose just to level things up for Hamilton? It goes without saying that Ferrari was one of the most competitive teams on the grid because of the mid-season development that they learned a lot from, minus the catastrophic run of Leclerc starting after Monaco and ending in Silverstone. Be that as it may, the team is now looking for new adventures from 2025 onwards, and with the arrival of Hamilton, as well as the new chassis technical director, Loic Serra, we should be expecting an approach that has never been seen before. This has been confirmed by Vasseur as well, and it could be written towards the fact that Ferrari's new employees have guaranteed that what they've done so far, although suggested moving in a positive direction, could as well mean that they need a new and brave approach for the upcoming campaign. When talking about it to a greater extent, Vasseur said, "If it will be competitive, we'll find out in Bahrain. Sometimes you don't realise you're taking risks until afterwards. The car will be completely new. I think we'll have less than 1% of the parts in common with the 2024 cars. It's a different project, but the same applies to everyone. We can't say now if 2025 will be our year, but I trust the project we are working on. It will still be an intense challenge like the one we just completed. I am very proud of how we tackled difficulties this year, but we must take another step towards consistency." And I believe I speak in the name of everyone when I say, please be patient. It's Ferrari who we are talking about, and while the latest moves are definitely showing signs of progress, unless we see that performance being translated onto the track, we can't believe anything that comes from the team that hasn't won a championship since 2007. But that is something that is very likely to change in the next period, because they have the most competitive duo on the grid right now, and to not utilise the facilities back in Maranello based on their feedback would be a proper waste of time, resources and money. Of course, a lot of this has to do with the arrival of Hamilton, who already paid around 5 visits to Maranello, even with him still being under contract with the Silver Arrows. And what is most impressive is the fact that he started to learn about the technical aspects of the car much more than we could possibly have anticipated. Reportedly, the 7-time world champion has already asked for changes of certain technical elements that would suit his driving style more, such as the infamous cockpit position that he complained so much about in Mercedes. Be that as it may, the Project 677, the name of the 2025 challenger of Ferrari, is set to deliver tons of performance to the cars of Leclerc and Hamilton, and what is definitely worth paying attention to is who is going to take the most out of the car. Hamilton is not very known for adapting to a new concept of car, and that has been proven with the 2022 regulations. However, we must not forget the greatness that this man possesses in himself, and when it comes to the 2022 regulations, he wasn't very fond of the team's preferences in the car. It's not like his teammate was dominating the rest of the grid and he was half a second off. It's just the fact that Hamilton couldn't have found a common ground with cars that turned out to be divas year after year. On the other hand, Ferrari have started to move in the right direction, and from a team that was practically known for performing on Saturdays only and not on Sundays when it mattered the most, the tyre management of the car has improved a lot, while they still managed to save just enough balance to put the car on the front row quite often. Even though Hamilton has been severely beaten by Russell in the qualifying head-to-head in 2024, he has been one of the most dominating drivers over one lap in the past couple of years, and if Ferrari manages to provide him with a car that can accommodate Hamilton's preferences, rest assured that he'll continue where he left off back in 2020 and 2021. When talking about Hamilton's current qualifying pace and deficit, Vasseur isn't worried too much about whether or not the 7-time world world champion will struggle in this area with his new team, as he elaborated. Yeah, but first of all, we are well placed to know that it's on Sunday that you are scoring points, but I think we fell a little bit in 2023 also because we were probably the best in quali, but we struggled in the race. It means that we have to keep the focus on the race, a decent step forward in 2024, but we have to keep this approach. Shah and so I think improved a lot on the race management, tyre management between 2023 and 24, and it means that we have to keep the same momentum and the same approach for the next championship. Whether we like it or not, Hamilton is definitely one of the best drivers on the grid, and if there is someone who can transform the culture in the Maranello team, it's him. The choice to replace Sainz might have been a bit controversial because of the age difference and the fact that the Spaniard helped the team a lot in bringing themselves to where they are right now, but it takes a real champion to bring the championship home. Yes, the project does revolve heavily around Leclerc, but when you have a teammate like Hamilton, it's easy to say that things could evolve pretty quickly and that Hamilton could pose a serious threat to Leclerc's legacy in Ferrari. Fred Vasseur, however, welcomes the challenge of having two alpha male drivers on the grid and says that he would much rather have them fight for the wins in a similar fashion to Rosberg and Hamilton in 2014 to 2016, rather than gather scrap points and calculate whether they would finish second or third in the championship. When addressing the tension that could arise between Hamilton and Leclerc in 2025 because of their competitiveness, Vasseur said, "It's a happy headache. I prefer to fight for a 1-2 result than for 19th and 20th place. This is clear, and I think it's also part of the performance. Clearly, the last 2 years I let them race on track, and it was for the benefit of the team because the emulation that we created like this was part of the recovery when we had tough times, and they had huge respect between them. It's part of the performance of the team. But make no mistake, this is a duo of drivers that would be looked at closely from the other teams as well, like Red Bull. The current situation is something that has been discussed by Christian Horner, who believes that there could be a division within Ferrari with the arrival of Hamilton. And now, with the brand new concept of the car, claims like this are starting to make a lot more sense. With two alpha male drivers, you can never put all of the hope on one of the competitors because you know that even if they are the best of friends outside of the track, when the helmet is on, the story and narrative are very different. Elaborating further on this, Horner said, a team like Ferrari next year, for example, is going to have two drivers who are going to be taking points off each other. And which horse do you back? You have to back both of them, but that sometimes becomes divisive within a team. Different teams have different approaches. All of this points towards one fact: we are going to have a serious challenger in Ferrari from 2025 onwards, and they are looking to be the favourite to win it all in the season before the new regulations take place. Not that they are not the favourite to dominate from 2026 as well, but with so many unknowns, we should be waiting to see how that duo of Leclerc and Hamilton will adapt to the fresh set of regulations. Right now, the focus is on 2025, and with a car that would look 99% different to the one of 2024. It could either be a revolutionary gain that would separate them from the rest of the grid, or it could be a failure that Mercedes and Red Bull have faced when changing their own concepts. With all this in mind, what do you think about Ferrari's 2025 car? Let us know in the comments below, and if you're interested in Wolff's latest statement about Hamilton, make sure to check out the video that's appearing on your screen right now.